All right, we're out at Oak Park Garden Center, and Diane Giddens is here, and she's going to answer these questions that I have every year at this time. What to plant, where? And so the first question is, how do I know what I've got in my yard?
Okay, well, the best thing to do is walk out in your yard or look out your window. Okay, and you're going to see how the sun hits your yard as it comes up in the east and goes down in the west.
So if your house is facing north or south or east or west, you can see what happens in your garden through the day.
Yep.
I know I'm north facing, so that makes some of the front of the house kind of in the shade in the afternoon. Is that right?
Typically you have more shade, especially closer to the house.
Okay. And we're going to talk about, so first you determine, okay, how much sun do I have? Because it's critical to picking the correct plants.
That's one of the main things that we look for is the amount of sun. Some plants want full sun all day long, which would be about 8 hours a day. Roses are a big one, you know, a lot of your sun, annuals and perennials. So yeah, that's the first thing we look for.
And then you said you kind of have to know, do you have sandy soil or clay kind of soil, or just generally the consistency of the soil you're going to be planting in?
Right, because that'll give you a lot of water holding qualities. If you have sandy soil or you have a raised bed, you're going to get better drainage. So there are plants that prefer that.
Sandy soil is drier.
Yes.
Okay, and so then we've got two kinds, once we kind of know our environment for our plants, we want to talk about the two types of plants. And the type that is the annual, these are the superstars, they're brief, but they're beautiful.
No, they're the long ones, okay? These are
only
the
one
showy
season.
Guys. That's right.
Gotcha.
Yeah, brief in terms of years.
And then perennials, which will come back for you every year.
Yes, and come back better.
Come back better. That is the best part.
Yeah.
So when it comes to annuals, what's important about, like I said, you're going to spend I typically spend a couple $100s on annual plants, but I still am upset if they don't look beautiful.
Sure.
So your advice for most, for picking those annuals?
Okay, well, there's a couple ways you can do it. You can look at the tag. The tag's going to tell you how much sun the plant takes, how big the plant's going to get, how much water it wants, and in the case of annuals, not so much bloom time because they bloom all summer.
But also then the spread of them too, that's important too. I tend to overpack stuff in a small space because I want those, but that's not a good idea.
Yeah, I don't know. I like to pack stuff too.
Okay,
Yeah,
I feel better to hear that then because I want it so dramatic when I'm doing it.
I tend to overpack too. So I mean, you know, it's like with annuals you can't too much go wrong. Now with perennials you want to take more care as far as how much to space them, because otherwise when they come back next year and they come back double, you may be too crammed in.
So we've got some ideas here when it comes to perennials, and this is everyone's favorite shaded plant, but you're saying, I love this, the lighter of the hosta leaves would be okay with a little bit more sun.
Yes, and the thicker.
Okay.
And your tag will tell you that, or ask someone in the garden center. Ask me, I'll tell you.
Ask you which one if I've got to put I love hosta. We love hosta. It's a classic plant.
It's a staple.
It's
if you
a staple.
Have shade, for sure.
So the hosta, but then you've got, this I like because so many times with our perennials, they're green. Right. You've got a gorgeous plant here. What is this?
That's a heuchera.
And it's a new, what did you call it?
It's a new hosta.
The new hosta.
Yeah,
I love it.
Because it's a foliage plant for the most part. It does get a little flower, as does the hosta. But the main thing about these plants is that they have gorgeous foliage, from reds to dark purple to silver to green. It's
how gorgeous that would be to pop.
Amazing, yeah.
So then we've also got some smaller plants here. This here is a, what is this one?
Blue gloss.
Blue, it's beautiful.
I know, the blues, some of the floral blues you just can't believe.
How gorgeous
they look almost fake.
And then here's this is
that's
classic,
salvia,
another classic plant.
Another classic, blooms from the spring to, I would say, midsummer, and you can't kill it.
I love it. You can't kill it. See, that's when we invest in these things, you want them to last, so that's good. Then you've got, this looks like a ground cover, and so does this. Is that right, or no?
Yes, those are both ground covers. They're low, so you can plant those under. This is full sun. This is thrift. This is a common name bugleweed. this gets a blue flower about like this. A lot of blue flowers in the spring.
Okay.
But then you still have double duty by the pretty leaf color that covers your ground.
Okay, and now this one, it does look like a mint, and you said is this a mint?
Catmint, long blooming blue blooms as well, and that'll go like mid to late summer into fall.
Okay, and then we have over here, like I said, this I would consider more of a shrubbery type of deal. What's the plan here?
And well, you know, in your flower beds, it doesn't hurt to have some stronger plants to kind of take you through the whole season.
Right.
So this is an ivory halo dogwood. You get variegated foliage throughout the summer. Variegated meaning green with a cream edge to the leaves.
Okay.
You get flowers, and you also get these nice red twigs throughout the winter. So if you have a light-colored house, it's nice to have some interest.
And then this here is really pretty. This looks like it almost ought to be in a box. It's so pretty. So this, what is that?
I love that plant. That is
beautiful.
Creeping Jenny.
Creeping Jenny.
And it likes water.
Okay.
But it's a nice cascading plant. You can use it as a ground cover. I use it in containers as well.
I was going to say almost to line the outside of a container.
Yeah,
Okay.
Because in containers, we like to have a tall plant, we like a filler plant, and then we like something cascading.
But this is this you said is a perennial though.
Yes.
Beautiful.
That's a perennial. Yeah.
So at the beginning of the season, what do we do for our perennials? Do we need to prune things or just assess, or what do you suggest at the beginning here? We're kind of April, May.
Perennials die all the way down to the ground.
So you don't have to worry.
So come spring, you'll start to see things popping up, like the little points of the hostas are one of the first things. Don't worry about it. I wouldn't get rid of my mulch or any of the leaves right away. Wait till mid-spring, I would say, so that keeps the ground from fast thaw and freeze if we do get a cold spell.
And that's kind of when you assess, all right, how do we do? And then when it comes to planting these annuals, most of us go for a weekend. This is the weekend we're buying it, and this is the week, it's like your investment of the weekend. And the rule of thumb doesn't have to be Mother's Day. It can be kind of a little looser than that.
I like to push the envelope on that.
Right.
With containers, I tell people you can bring them in. If the weatherman says it's going to be frost, if you have them planted in the ground, take an old sheet and cover them. Don't use plastic because that can tend to make them freeze, but a sheet, it doesn't get that cold this time of year that just covering with a sheet will.
So really, we are good to go. And the best plan, you need to watch where you're planting, and you need to watch what you're planting, and that really is going to be your label. Or you come out to Oak Park.
That's
you can just tell us. You can direct me. Hold my hand, Diane.
Absolutely. And try something new.
I'm gonna. That's it. 2017. Try something new. All right. Thank you so much, Diane. I can't wait to get in there and get my hands dirty. Don't go away. We'll be right back.